you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree. When the love's gone and the hate's there, better watch out, cause it ain't fair. And your family ain't your family, and your legacy is just a name there. And your mother's...
Welcome back to the We Was Watching podcast. I'm your host, Brandon.
I'm your other host, Chanel.
And we are back in Thailand on vacation to discuss episode 1 of season 3 of White Lotus. What's going on, Chanel?
Okay. What's going on? I'm just really curious of where you got this shirt from.
This is my going to Thailand shirt.
I get that. Actually, I get that. If I was going to Thailand, I would wear an izod and a quilted belt.
No, you
and yeah, I actually was like, who dressed? I hate people who went. Let me start on a positive note. That is an interesting way to dress that I cannot identify with, but I do love your outfit.
And we are on vacation in a beautiful, beautiful resort in Thailand. As a matter of fact, you know, Chanel, I told y'all last week, Chanel is gallivanting around the world. You know, if y'all watch White Lotus and you saw the resort on there, doesn't even compare to where she's going. Doesn't even compare. It's not even on the same level of where she's going.
Exactly. I'm actually going to a brown lotus. Yeah. It's like the next level up.
Yeah, of course. So, you know, everybody, let's all wish we could be like Chanel because she's living the life up. But before we get into this episode, for those of you listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can leave us a review. If it's 5 stars, we'll read it on the show. We really appreciate those a lot. You can also find us on YouTube. Just search We Was Watching Podcast or go to youtube.com/@WeWasWatching and hit that notification bell and see us go live to talk about shows like White Lotus. We'll be doing Severance and Righteous Gemstones after those two. So hit the notification bell. You can listen to us live and interact with us in the chat. You can also send us an email at wewaswatchingpodcast@gmail.com. We'll read those emails on the show. And you can follow us on Twitter at WeWasWatching on Twitter and Blue Sky. Chanel, do you have any nonsense that you want to talk about before we get into this show?
I've never spoken about nonsense in my life, so the answer to that would be no.
Okay.
And also, there's not that much nonsense to get into between now and the last episode. I would like people's feedback on whether or not the stuff that I said at the end of the episode made sense, and I felt like it did. I was trying to use my Milchick speak, and I think it really flowed. So I just would like feedback on that. But like Brandon said, like, subscribe. As soon as you join the chat and start chatting with us, it helps our algorithm. I did want to say, though, I did want to point out, I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but the caption says episode... You fixed it. Okay. Great. We're good.
Don't be thinking you outsee me. You don't outsee me.
Okay. Oh, actually, I do have something to talk about, and it is very important. Guys, within the last week, we reached over 200 subscribers. Thank you so much. That is so freaking exciting. We are on the road to 500 in monetization, so thank you. And I don't know, Brandon, when was our first video?
3 years ago.
Our first video was probably like... No, video. Wait, yeah, you're
video.
Right. We streamed.
I just
Did
went
we
just
stream 3 years ago?
No, first video was 8 months ago.
8 months. I'll take it. 200 subscribers in 8 months. I am very grateful.
And if we would have streamed House of the Dragon and kept going, we probably would have been further along now. But we stopped. We really started streaming consistently with Industry, which was 5 months ago. 5 months ago. So that's not too bad for 5 months.
Industry. No, I mean, it's not bad at all. I appreciate people. And I think that what I'm excited about is most of these streams are from people who are like pleasantly surprised at how much fun our show is. So keep listening, click that button, and everybody else. I always think about like after the fact, if you're watching on Facebook or on any other feed or stream, come join us on the We Was Watching YouTube so we can. Brandon can see everything, but so I can interact with your comments in real time. Come check us out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many people we have watching. We get a pretty big crowd for Severance. This is our first time doing White Lotus, so we'll see how many people come over.
And we actually were able to do it the very next day, which is really good.
So now I love this show. I have a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
If these studios would stop giving mediocre white people showrunners and director jobs and writer jobs and gave some of those to us, those shows would be better. And we can still get our white people and celebrate them for the great shows that they do, right? We can still get the White Lotuses and the Severances and the Successions and the fantastic shows, but all them other mediocre, terrible shows that they just give to white people for no reason, they can give to us, and then those will be better. Then we have more good TV, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because these white people on HBO that they be finding be writing some shows. Righteous Gemstones, White Lotus, Succession, they be writing their ass off to some shows. And this show, to me, is so unique because nothing happens in the first episode every season, except everything happens in the first episode every season. Because it's like, to me, it's like watching Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's a drama. Because it's so cringy. And I'm so on the edge of my seat because I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm like, this shit is not going to work out well. This is going to go terribly. Something really bad is about to happen. And it never fails in the first two episodes. And I don't think this season is going to be anything different. What did you think about episode one?
Yes, multiple white women will die this season, which is crazy. Obviously, I have to think about why I watch shows. Because HBO will definitely, I will give in pretty much any. I'll give like 75% of HBO shows a chance, but I actually probably don't watch 75% of HBO. And I will see the reason why people like or why I should like that show. I see the reason why I should like most shows if I sit through it long enough. But I was thinking about why do we like White Lotus? And it really is white people behaving badly. And now it's becoming like a thing where we're getting, I think at first it was like a novelty, and now I'm starting to really realize we're getting, how, I don't know, this might be a stretch, but you know how people talk about like not doing Black pain movies anymore? Like we don't need to show slavery or whatever. I think it's like white people getting into their bag and being like, let's show how fucked up some of these families are in behind closed doors sooner than later. Like no more all in the family bullshit. Like, no, this is how it really is. And I'm just curious to see how many people actually truly relate to this kind of content, because we watch it being like, oh my gosh, look at these assholes. But like for a lot more people than we realize, this is their 18th year when they went on vacation with their family.
Yeah.
So I feel like Mike White is he's exposing a lot of the white community, and that's very interesting to me. And I don't even mean that in a hateful way, because I know we joke about like MAGA and white people, whatever. I'm genuinely saying like this is an interesting look into the culture and like the dynamics. And I think that by understanding each other's deeper dynamics, we can actually have more racial harmony.
Absolutely. And they always find a way to cast, they go to these different locations. They always find a way to cast local actors, it appears.
Yeah, I love that. Love that.
Because like in Hawaii, they had native Hawaiian actors. In Italy, they had Italian actors like from Italian cinema. And then this year they're in Thailand, and we got at least two people.
Big Mook.
Mook and I have all. Oh, so we'll get to that. So I want to do things a little bit different for White Lotus, at least for the first episode. The next episodes will go normal, but I'm going to do a season setup. Okay. I'm going to go through our cast of characters. We're going to talk about the transit to the hotel, because they do this in every season, right? They set up the season with something like an intro, like at the beginning, a pre-up that's in the future, and we come back to the past. Then we meet all the characters, usually on the boat or the bus or something towards the hotel. And then and then we break down to the different factions and the different people that's at the hotel. And so we'll get to that. So does that sound good?
So you're just gonna start from the beginning?
Sort of. You'll see. All right. So season setup. We see a black dude named Zion, and he's doing some meditation. And Zion is Belinda's son. Belinda is Natasha Rothwell from.
We don't know that
season.
until the end, but yes, he says my mom. He mentions his mom early on.
Well, I knew it right away because I was like, they don't got too many niggas on the show. So.
Well, I mean, I knew that, but I was just double checking. I just wanted to double check, but we didn't hear that much about Belinda's child. I don't think in previous seasons, but we did. What we've seen Belinda go through is being like a prop, basically, for like she really very much wants to start her wellness, her own wellness journey, and Jennifer Coolidge's character was like stringing her around just to get. Tanya was doing all that just to get her man. So she got played by somebody promising her the world. And so I was excited because I knew she'd be in this season, but this is one of the ways they integrate her.
She sent him here because he's been stressed out with life, with school exams. And then he said, and some other stuff, and it just didn't elaborate on that, which I'm very curious to what else has been bothering him. They start to meditate, then they hear some gunshots. You see people running, the monkeys running. They're like, what the fuck's going on? He jumps in the water because he's scared that the gunshots are coming from where his mama was at. So he starts walking towards that, and then we see a floating dead body, and we cut away, and we say 1 week earlier. So that's what's going to be happening at the end of the season. Somebody going to be shooting, and we don't know why. We don't know who. We don't know who's dead. But we know things are happening.
It's definitely worth watching because the shot set up, like there's this juxtaposition of him and the monkey behind him. The monkeys are going to be a part of this season, even if it's just like an interesting part of like living in that area that the tourists all are like shocked by or take for granted or whatever, or I don't know, but there's something about the monkeys that everyone is like fascinated. Like basically, what I guess my theory will be is that the way that people react to the monkeys not the lizards, but the monkeys can really be indicative of their personalities, because some people are like wonderful, amazing, and some people are like, what the fuck? So the monkeys is a thing. We'll see what else that means. And also, if you watch I watched the intro, and there's like a story being told about monkeys chasing people up a tree. So I just wonder if the monkeys are relevant. But anyway, there's juxtaposition with him. There's juxtaposition with him, and then also there's a shot in and out of the water when he finds the body. So like all that stuff is stuff, if you like to look at cinematography and figure out like what the director was trying to like telegraph to you early, you should definitely go watch that scene.
So then we meet. I'm going to give you a rundown of the characters we got this season, because we got some interesting characters. We have the Radcliffes, which is basically upper middle class to wealthy family from North Carolina. Timothy Radcliffe is the dad. He's clearly like a finance dude who's built up a business of some sort. He's done some funds, we know, which we find out later in the show. He's been a part of some funds.
I'm gonna call him Brunette Daniel Craig,
played by Jason Isaacs. And then we have Victoria Ratliff, played by Parker Posey. She's like a Xanax mom, like a super Southern, like clearly on drugs, clearly and obviously on drugs, half falling asleep during the day, who talks nonstop and is probably pretty funny. Has some of the pretty funny moments this season. Then they have three kids.
I think she's gonna die.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna write this down at the end of the show.
That's my theory. Yeah.
They got three kids. Saxon Ratliff, who's played by Patrick Schwarzenegger, who we saw on Gen V, playing Golden Boy. And
that's who that was. I was like, I know he's been in something.
He's like a finance bro, like, I'm gonna take over my dad's business.
Firm.
Yeah. Who's also like super like outwardly masculine. And you know, what you were a frat bro.
He's the one wearing the polo with the belt and the like. He's dressed like he's going to golf. He's dressed like
Carlton. Then we have his younger brother, Lockie Ratcliffe.
Lachlan. They call him Lockie.
He's like a nerdy kid that's like kind of shy but a little weird. And we'll get to it later, but
He's also
possibly
like the baby,
really
and there's
weird.
like there's a bit of like a baby dynamic, where you could tell that maybe, I feel like the whole family he's like, you know that story of the king that like said just split the baby down the middle so you could both have the baby.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's the baby being split down the middle in this family.
Then we have his older sister, the middle child, Piper, who's in school. She's a Buddhist convert, or at least interested in Buddhism. And
yeah, she's supposedly studying. No, she's not a high schooler. She's at UNC Chapel Hill.
Yeah, college. Yeah.
I thought you said high school. So she's graduating college, and so her thesis is going to be on this Buddhist monk that's practicing on Thailand.
And then we got the MILFs, or the cougars, the girls.
And the fact that they're called cougars is so crazy, because what makes me a cougar? I'm just minding my business. Like, cougar is now the word just for a hot older woman.
Yeah, a hot woman over 40.
Even if she's not paying attention to you, though, that's the thing. Cougars is if she was over there talking about, what can I get you to drink?
Well, now it's just a hot woman over 40. If you're over 40 and you're attractive, you're a cougar. Jacqueline, who is a famous actress who's funded this girls trip for her and her two childhood best friends. Kate is one of them, who is like a housewife of a rich dude, like who has a super big business in Austin, Texas. And another friend, Lori, who is kind of like the odd one out, but it's like a corporate person, has a single mom, has a daughter, and doesn't live the life that the other two live, which we'll get into. That group is the most interesting group of this show to me. The most interesting group of this show to me. And I need some women insight on this, because I found their conversations completely fascinating. Then we got our boy Walton Goggins, Rick, who I don't even know. He just is like an ornery like person who's in Thailand for some specific reason that we don't really know about, but he's fixated on the owner and the owner's husband of the White Lotus in Thailand.
Yeah, he's a scammer. He's 100% a scammer, and he came to scam. He came to scam, rob, connive, something. Like, he needed that guy to be there because it was a part of the whole scheme. And so I think he's like, what he's giving to me is Captain Jack Sparrow. He's giving like a nigga on the run, low key, high key.
And then we have his girlfriend Chelsea, who's a free-spirited, like fun woman from England. You know what she reminds me of?
Pippi Longstocking.
No, not Pippi Longstocking.
She got them damn teeth. She reminded me of Hermione when they did that spell, and Hermione had them. Oh,
Healy from Ted Lasso. That's who she reminds me of. And so she's out there to have a good time. Kind of an odd couple with Rick, but she's not about to be dragged down by his bullshit, at least so far. And then we have the staff, right? So the staff, we have the owner of the hotel. I can't pronounce her name. Solata. She's like this beautiful
I'm struggling with these.
Thai woman who's a former actress, a former singer.
She's a diva, honey. She's a diva because the boat is, the whole boat with all the guests are coming, and the general manager comes and says, "Hey, can you come?" And she says, "Tell them to circle the bay. Tell the boat to just freestyle some routes, and I'll be there when I'm there."
We got the general manager, Fabian, who's we don't know too much about him, but he seems to be like a micromanager, because there's a part later in the episode where the Lloyd is trying to deliver something, and he's just like, "Don't do it. Okay, do it. Don't do it. It's like moving around and stuff.
What was the guy, Jerry, the famous actor, but like the manager from Benny's first season? Armand, yes. I feel like we've seen some interesting GMs, because this one, he does seem to be a micromanager, but also very anxious.
Yes. Then we see Gautak and Mook. Gautak is like a dorky security guard to me, who's definitely has a huge crush on Mook. Mook is like this really cute Thai woman who kind of got Gautak in the friend zone.
I feel like they're dating, but they're not. Cause like he's definitely goes a little bit further than just a crush, like saying stuff like, "Oh, give me a kiss," or like, "I'll see you later," or "Gorgeous, my princess," or whatever he says. But definitely they're not. They might be exclusive, and she still has him wrapped around his fingers. Is what I was picking up.
Then we have Porn Chai, who is the wellness expert who's training Belinda, who Belinda we know from previous seasons is a wellness from the Maui White Lotus.
And Natasha Rothwell is such a great actress. She's often the only good person in this on the island.
And then the last three characters is we have Valentine, who's like this hot Russian dude who walks around with no shirt on, who's obviously going to fuck at least one of these other characters, maybe two, which is going to be interesting to see how that goes down. We have Chloe, who we meet towards the end of the episode, who's like a frequent White Lotus. Her boyfriend and her live up the hill, and they come down there to eat all the time, and she hangs out with with Chelsea and her boyfriend. Did you see who her boyfriend was, Chanel? Her boyfriend,
old boy from season 2,
is Greg, who set up Tanya to get killed from season 2. So he found him a new squeeze, and he must love him some White Lotus.
And didn't he get Tanya's money when she died?
Oh, I don't remember. I think he did. I think he did get Tanya's money when she died. Maybe that's why he got all the bread now. I can't remember. Somebody let us know.
I think I remember he was going to die or something, and then he didn't. And then, so Greg's definitely not a good guy, but it's very interesting to see him. So, like, I was like, I don't remember everything, but I know that we don't like him.
So then on the transit to the hotel when they're all together, we see the girls having a good time, Rick looking salty, smoking a heater, and fucking around with the Radcliffes. They're arguing because they're like, don't smoke on this fucking boat. And they get into argument.
I actually was thinking through this. How would you, say you're in this setting, how would you ask them to stop smoking? Also, does it even actually bother you on a boat? Genuine
I probably
question.
would be minding my own business. Or just
right. And like outside where the air is streaming and moving like that, are you actually that?
Unless he's been a dick and blowing smoke on him, no.
Yeah, it just seemed like they were like, it told you a lot about who they were, but also I do think that I think for the most part, at least in the West, and I just don't want to speak for the world, is that like at this point, cigarette smokers are like looked down upon, and it's not as prolific as it was 60 years ago when like everybody would be smoking and you'd be weird for like asking them not to. So I think that that was an indicator automatically of I think maybe we'll figure out that Walton Goggins' character is actually a better person than Jason Isaacs' character, but in the grand scheme of things, you can see class wise, right? They were judging them immediately for smoking, and they just had a different vibe. And then if you notice, what's his name? Schwartzy. What's the boy's name? Saxon comes over to fight his dad's battles for no reason, gets in face. They get up, they're actually about to fight. And then it's interesting because we see that homegirl, Walton Goggins' girlfriend, is able to calm him down in a pretty basic way. She just pulls on him, he kind of pulls back. But I was just noticing that dynamic of I thought their relationship would be stronger in the beginning based on her being able to pull him back from that conflict, but then he's an asshole to her the rest of the time. And I thought it was interesting that Saxon got up to fight his dad's battle when his dad didn't ask him or need him to, and when his dad probably actually started it. And it's technically, I guess what I'm trying to think is how still can the air be if you can be outside telling somebody not to smoke? But then again, the other day, I came around a corner and somebody was smoking and it hit me in the face and I was pissed off. So I get it actually, but I don't get the approach. I think I would just be I think my problem is that I have to start a whole conversation with them just to be do you mind? I would be can you not smoke, please? I'm so sorry. But I wouldn't feel comfortable just saying it. I have to be where are you from? How are you?
So a heater. Get yourself a heater.
Okay. You're going straight to guns?
No. A cigarette, a heater.
I don't think that's what they call them.
That's what they call them.
What's a heater? Okay, anyway, sorry. I just thought the boat stuff was very interesting because you saw that, and at the same time, you saw the three girls that Brandon is in love with, just giggling to themselves. And a heater is a fastball or a gun. Is a heater a cigarette? Heated tobacco products heat real tobacco instead of burning it. That's not what you're thinking.
A heater.
Okay.
Urban Dictionary. Heater. Noun, a cigarette, smoke, stoic, butt. I'm going to go rip a heater. No, I didn't. That's from 2005.
Oh, okay. I feel, here's the thing. I don't think you can say heater. I think you have to say rip a heater. I think that's I think it's a phrase that goes together. I don't think you could just use heater. You can't say, oh, I did a heater or I went for a heater. You have to say, I ripped the heater. Because if you said rip a heater, I would have known you said. Anyway, we can move on.
Don't be coming at me about my cigarette slang, all right? I know my slang. So then they end up getting to the hotel. Then we see that Mook's moped died. She had to get picked up by Gaytok. I don't know how to say his name. Gaytok. I'm just say it's Gaytok. We'll figure it out next episode. He clearly got a crush on her. I don't think they're together. Chanel thinks they might be together. I don't think they're together. I think he just got a crush on her. And because when he said, pay me $100, and she said, get out of here. And he said, how about a kiss? And she said, get out of here. I got to get to work. So
yeah,
it's kind of like,
but yeah, you're right.
And then we see Fabian and the general manager meet the customers, but he had to wait because the diva owner was just like, make him go around the bay a couple more times. I got to get my eyeliner right, man. Like,
well, I gotta get this right. Though, like, you're right. After 3 seasons, we can start to say iconic White Lotus stuff. So the wave on the beach of them standing there is an iconic White Lotus thing, kind of like the Ritz-Carlton cookies. And then also the scene of the establishing that the family's fucked up at dinner was probably my favorite moment because I just forgot how like I've gotten used to so much happens at a dinner table and like in any show and in real life. So the White Lotus dinner table, that first dinner is like you said, nothing happens but everything happens. Like everything's established and so many important things come up and dynamics. So I enjoyed that.
All right, so we got a few groups. We got Rick and Chelsea. We got the Ratcliffe family. We got the girls, the Cougars. We got Belinda, and we got Mook and Gaytok. Who you want to start with?
Actually, I don't care. We can start with Mookie now.
All right, so Mook. This is really quick. The next time we see them after they get to work, Mook is the helper, or not the helper. That's the wrong word. She is the person that's going to be like their how do they say it? Kind of.
Yeah, they have like a health concierge basically.
Concierge
so each
for the Ratcliffe family.
Yeah, so basically what's going to happen is that each of them are going to have somebody who like works with them throughout the whole time. And so like it's like their concierge, but technically okay, sorry, let me take a step back. This is a health retreat, which is a little bit different than all the other White Lotuses. Like this one is specifically supposed to be like healthy food. You're supposed to be doing yoga and doing wellness or whatever. So that person's supposed to like guide them through that journey, basically.
And she comes out on a break and she starts talking to the security guards for the owner, who are kind of like some tough looking Thai people. And Gaytok is over there watching them and he looks salty as hell. He's looking jealous. And he's like, Mook, come over here. And she's like, what the fuck you talking to them for? And by the way, they're speaking in Thai. They have subtitles, which I like. And she's like, they're nice. What you mean? And he was like, they're not nice. They're security guards. And then she was like, well, they're interesting. They live a fun life. They got an interesting job.
Sorry, he calls them arrogant. And she's like, no, whatever. But like, there's this dynamic where she's trying to get him to do different things or like be better. But I don't think if she's not with him, she's trying to get him to be better and she still won't be with him even if he does get better. And that's the trap people fall into. Like she can make him change his whole life and become a bad guy or like become like a badass who like rides motorcycles without the helmet and she still won't be with him. Like it's actually a game.
And he's like, my life is interesting too. She's like, what you do that's interesting? I saved somebody one time. I think he said like I say something from Drowning or something like that one time, and she's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds like a fucking blast." And I was
Which, by
like,
the way, rude.
"This man's stuck in the friend zone, and I feel bad for him." And he gonna be salty this entire time because everybody gonna be hitting on her. So let's go with Rick and Chelsea. So they get to the hotel and they're greeted by Fabian and Charlotta. Rick refuses. They have these offerings, right? It's supposed to be, which we find out later, for like good luck and protection. That you get like these offerings, and you're supposed to take it to like this, like, what do you call it? Uh, Shrine, like a shrine. And you're supposed to give it to like the shrine, and it's supposed to be like protecting you from the spirits and whatever. And Rick's like, "Nah, dog, I'm good. Fuck that. I don't want that shit." And they claim they got the best wellness program in the world. And the whole time, Rick is just standing on the side, like completely standoffish.
Rick is being a fucking asshole, by the way. Like I don't know if it's because of what got on in the boat, but like he's pissed the whole time. Maybe he thought the other owner would be there, and he just already was pissed. I don't know.
That's clearly what he thought. Yeah.
But it's also like, one thing. Okay, I thought about this earlier today because sometimes like when you go to, like I was in a nail shop that has like Vietnamese technicians, and so like when you go in there, if you are paying attention, there's like shrines sometimes, or like like other like religious things that are technically religious artifacts for them. And I was thinking about how often I'm trying to pull these thoughts together, but I also did an escape room recently, and the theme was seance. And some of my girlfriends and the thing were like, "Oh, we don't want to play around with that." And I'm like, it's literally magnets under the table, right? But I just think about how like a lot of times Christians don't want to be around other religions, and I was thinking like, why actually is that? Because like if your religion's strong enough, it's not contagious. You know what I'm saying? Like being around Buddhists is not gonna make you Buddhist. Being around a shrine is not gonna like make that spirit come into you. If it is, then your spirit needs to fight harder. And so anyway, I was thinking about how when he's on this island, Rick needs to be respectful of these customs, because one thing I mean is I'm not fucking around. If you tell me in this island the big boat guy made of gold is the thing that does everything, okay, word. I'm not necessarily pledging my allegiance to him, but I'm gonna be like, hey, God bless. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna pray to him and Jesus and whoever else. Like, because the boy, when we see Zion in the beginning, he prays to the shrine, that same shrine later that we haven't seen a shrine yet, but the shrine where sometimes people leave their gifts. He prays to it and says like, "Please save my mom." And he's like, "Save her, motherfucker." And I was like, "You fucked up. Why would you cuss it? I know that's not your God, but that's somebody's God. Don't cuss at him." That was all. I thought all of that about the religion piece, because it's so interesting being these other cultures like with polytheistic gods where I don't feel like we have the same respect for them, but like these are customs that matter in this land.
Everybody who's not everybody, that's a broad brush, but a lot of people who are religious find other people's religions to be ridiculous or silly when they don't see how similar the stuff is.
Because the whole thing is like, Christians still sacrifice and tithe and give to God to show their thankfulness, and they pray, and then when they get benefits, they give to God. Like, I see it too.
Yeah. So then they get their villa. Oh, Mook said one when I said that. They get their villa, and Chelsea is talking to Mook about their life. They traveled all over the world together. She used to be a yoga teacher. Now they were going to go somewhere else, but now they were coming here. And then Rick just comes out of nowhere. It was like, "Hey, dog, was that the owner back then?" Mook was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Does she have a husband?" And he was like, "Yeah, he got a husband. Name is Jim Hollinger. He's one of the most famous people on the island." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, for real, dog? Oh, okay, is he here?" "Nah, he not here. He got sick and went back to Bangkok yesterday." And Rick was like, "God damn it, motherfucker." Like, what the fuck? He was so mad.
He literally, "She's here." He said, "Fuck." And she was like, "Okay, like, damn, don't finish talking to me either." Like, it was actually, I'm sorry. I love the characters they let Walton Goggins play, because he really does a lot for us. And like him being an asshole like that is so funny to me. And it's like the whole time she was staring at him. Okay, actually something I want to mention that I just wanted to make sure people are picking up on. All of the staff are so fucking uncomfortable, and they do a great job of telegraphing that just with their eyes, because their posture will be perfect, right? Mm-hmm. But they will show in their smile being fake, or like their look, or like their squint, that they are uncomfortable as fuck. So she did it And then when we talk about the family, she does it too. Like, you can tell. And I just think that is another thing that's very interesting, because like, yeah, we see the whole ecosystem, we see the help and everything, or like the staff members, I don't want to call them that, but like, I don't think people think enough about like how vulnerable it is to be serving strangers like that in this space, and like people thinking, oh, it's my vacation, I can act however I want to. It's just a very interesting dynamic.
Chelsea was like, don't mind him, he get migraines on the plane, he just freaking out a little bit.
Okay, so sorry, the other parallel I saw is that wives, partners making excuses for their men, because she's no different to me sometimes than the Southern lady.
Oh, okay.
Actually, she's different in how she deals with her husband, but like making excuses for him and how he talks to the help, like it's just a very interesting, it's the same side of a different coin of like, instead she does try to address it with him, but like the damage is still done and she's still making excuses for him to the people. And those are like my high level observations.
No, you're good. So then Chelsea, Rick looks so annoyed with the entire world. And Chelsea she's like, how about you get a male facial? And Rick is like, not interested at all. He's like, I didn't come here for no fucking wellness.
But she says, literally, we're at a wellness retreat. And secondly, somebody thought you was my dad in the airport.
Yes. And she said, speaking of that, why the fuck did we come here? I wanted to go to Australia. He was like, I told you I can't go to Australia. Why can't you go to Australia?
I told you, this nigga is Jack Sparrow running from the 7 seas because he literally can't. So she goes, why didn't we go to Australia? And she says, I can't. He goes, you're going to be arrested? She goes, stop asking all these fucking questions. You're a machine gun, goddamn it. So you are going to get arrested if you step foot in New Zealand. What are you saying? Like, she's not picking up on the fact that nigga is not right. Something ain't right about him. And the fact that that's even a question means that I think she knows about his dirty dealings, or she doesn't want to know.
Chelsea says they got this other treatment for anger issues, basically, and we know you gotta get your anger issues fixed. He's like, what the fuck you mean? I'm not the one that's crazy. You goddamn crazy. Like, don't come at me. That's what Rick said.
Yeah. So my other thought was what I said about like her making excuses, but then after this, I started to like her because Rick is saying shit to her, and she's like, all right, so you clearly need to get your attitude correct. Like, she's like, do you need yoga? What do we need? Like, she's not letting him kind of bring her down, which I like.
And then she was like, maybe we should get fucked up tonight. And I was like, I'm gonna like her because she seems like a fucking.
That's what I'm saying. Immediately, I liked her after my initial thoughts. Yeah.
They get to dinner, and this is later on the episode. And the waiter pours I said, this shit was so funny. That's just so funny. You can tell she's not rich. She's not from money at all, because I'm not rich, and I know what the fuck was happening here. She goes to a restaurant, and the waiter pours like a little bit of wine into the glass. And they do that so you can taste it. You're supposed to swirl it around and taste it and say, oh yeah, this is good. And they pour the rest of it in there. She goes, excuse me, I don't want to be rude, but this is not enough wine. And Rick was like, he was like, God damn it, they want you to taste it. He was so irritated by that.
He's so bad. But I'm like, it's your fault that you didn't prep her. You know she ain't been outside.
I was like, she's from Manchester. She's from the streets.
She's from Hackney.
And so the waiter, Rick tells the host, tell her to taste it. Rick starts complaining about the food because they got gluten-free rice and some other shit, vegetarian shit that he don't want to fucking eat.
And she says you're a victim of your own consequence or something like that, which is so, again, this show is telling us something we need to, she just predicted whatever's going to happen to him. I don't know exactly the specifics, but like, he chose to go there. She did not want to go there, and then he's gonna complain the whole time because he fucked up, and he won't give her details so she can understand why he feels how he feels.
So he then he says, she's like, I think the cosmos brought us together so that I can help you get your joy back. And Rick was like, oh yeah, is that true? Then he looks at the owner and gets up and fucking leaves her right in the middle of the fucking restaurant. Oh no, right before that, she says, do you want to get into some tantra later?
Tantra. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, it's like those weird positions and stuff.
Yeah, it's also just like being with your partner in every moment, like your chakras are aligning. Yeah, it's like tantric sex. But
Rick's
like
not
she
for
really
that
is.
shit.
No, but she's really just like, what the fuck did you bring me here for if we're not gonna go to the spa or do the meditative sex? What's happening?
Yeah, she's not. She's like, what? She leaves, and Chelsea then goes to the bar, and whole time Rick is on the phone looking at like pictures of the owner and the owner's wife. So he's clearly obsessed with them for something. There's something that he's trying to get out of them. Chelsea's at the bar. That's when we see Chloe. Chloe shows up and is like, yeah, my boyfriend made me mad either, so I left. And he's over there. Then they pan over there and we see it's goddamn Greg. And she tells him that we live up on the hill. We're not staying at the hotel. We come down here to eat. And Chloe and
what country was she from?
She didn't say, but she said she was a model and she used to be in London because she was a model.
Okay, yeah. So it seemed like she's from the West because she brought up the blonde bald white guy thing, and I just want to bring up a day ago, and I don't know if this is in response to White Lotus, but there's this. My friend sent a TikTok of literally all of these bald white guys at this food court in Thailand. Like it's just bald white guy, Thai woman, bald white guy, Thai woman. And
really?
it's like literally the whole, I'm gonna send it to you. I mean, I was like, oh, this is actually a thing.
And he said they kind of connect because they both like each other's outfit. Chloe says, I like your teeth. And they connect over to having shitty boyfriends. And then Chelsea was like, let's get pissed. And Chloe was like, fuck it. Another martini, let's go. And then they start drinking. And that's the last we see of them in this episode. Let's go to, I'm going to save the Ratcliffes and the girls for last. So let's jump to Belinda. Because she didn't do much this episode. Basically, she's greeted by Poncho. She's like, I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad that this opportunity opened up. I get to come back and take these wellness tactics back to Maui because I heard y'all got the best in the world. This is a blessing. They're walking around. They go to the shrine. She gives her offering to the shrine. And then she's about to walk out. She sees a lizard and freaks the fuck out. Like, she's like, what the fuck is that?
But to be fair, that wasn't a fucking lizard. That was a Godzilla prototype. Like, that was a big ass, that was a different type of lizard. That wasn't a little gecko. Like, that bitch, that was like how like a, what's it called? I'm saying Charmander in my head, but like the type of lizards that have like 4 feet that look like alligators. That's what it was.
And he's like, nah, that lizard don't hurt you. I mean, it's just a lizard. Chill out.
He said you'll be friends with the lizards by the end. And I think, again, what I like about Belinda is she's so sweet, but it really is like she also responds to it in such an organic way because she's like, get the fuck out of my face. Like, she's like, no, I'm not. She's so nice until you show her a bug and she's like, I'm not doing this with y'all.
When they got back to the room, she told Poncho, you sure know how to treat a burnt out bitch. That's what she said.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like,
I love that. And so
there's no way he got that reference. There's no way he understood that.
I mean, I think that also the context is that we talked about her getting played before. Like, she's always been frustrated about her job and being underutilized. So I think apparently she's spending 3 months like on a transfer down there to learn their healing practices to bring it back to the White Lotus, Hawaii. So I do love that for her. Just like in the grand scheme of like being a Black woman in America, and I would love a 3-month stint in a luxury place to like learn about my craft. Like, I think that's like the idea of moving to another a tropical country right now is so real. So anyway, I just love this trajectory for her, and I pray she's not the one dead at the end of the season. That would make me so upset.
Well, I don't think she's going to be dead because she gave the offering for good luck and protection. So I think she's going to be fine. Then she tells Poncho that her son's going to be coming down there. He's been stressed out. Next time we see her, she's at dinner eating by herself. And she did the thing that we always do, where she saw another Black couple that was not the help. And she just said, hey, and they said, hey back. Because it was like, yeah, we all here together.
There's 3 of us now. We if some pop off, I'm gonna grab a chair. That's what that all signal.
She gets on the call with her son, and he's happy to come down there. She's just like, stay calm and do well on your test, and I'll see you when you get here. And then when she was walking back, she heard some shit in the tree. She was like, oh, fuck this. Ain't no snake falling on my head tonight. And she runs away from the animals again.
Every time she had that, I said, me.
That would be you?
She's like, I don't have time for this tonight. Like, maybe a snake can fall on my head another night, but tonight, no, I'm going to sleep.
I'll save the girls for last, the girlies for last, because they were my favorite part. So then we get to the Ratcliffe family. This family is intriguing to me as fuck. They had a long flight.
I just want to tell you too, like, I was hanging out with friends recently, and one of them goes to like one of the prestigious law schools, I'll say, and he was telling me about other prestigious law schools, and he was like, "Fuck Duke." And so apparently, just everybody Duke has a bad reputation of being so
pretentious,
arrogant, yes, and pretentious. Yeah. And it's so funny because if you're from other parts of the country, you're like, who is thinking about North Carolina? But in North Carolina, they got North Carolina money, and they have a whole status. They have their whole little like microculture happening down in that state. So like having money in North Carolina is a whole thing. It's like if you've seen The Staircase, first of all, you're my type of person. But if you've seen The Staircase, you know what I mean. But like that money, like that kind of status, being in those circles. But it's so funny being from Michigan. I'm like, who gives a fuck? But you can tell how serious this affinity goes for these people. And so the UNC versus Duke thing is extremely real. They couldn't have picked Michigan State wouldn't be the same level of rivalry as two families that are that's a Tar Heel, like a Blue Devil family. So I thought that was a very interesting and timely for me.
They have a long flight and they kind of jet lag. The mama's mad country, and she's just talking. Oh, my daughter, she's studying Buddhism. She's doing her thesis. My son works for his daddy. He does this and she does that. And Pam, the owner was like, can you take them to their villa? Like, she was not trying to hear that shit.
She immediately and I think they were irritated about it too. They were like, all right.
So they get to their villa and it's real nice. Like, they got the nicest one there. It's got 3 bedrooms. Like, it's nice as shit. And
then Pat Schwarzenegger babies goes, I actually know Saxon, but I want to call him Schwartzy for some reason. Okay. But Saxon goes, no, I'm gonna try. But Saxon goes like, oh, I know I give you shit about this, but I'm glad we're here. And I'm like, why would you give your parents shit about going to Thailand? Like, that's, again, we're just building out how spoiled and insulated these people are, like mentally and emotionally and socioeconomically, because like, can you imagine being like, Dad, who has time to go to Thailand? We got to do these reports.
No, but he was saying, I usually give you shit about your vacation choices. Yeah. And he was like, but you killed it this time.
But again, how are you giving him shit and you're not paying for shit?
Right. Exactly.
That's still the thing, yeah.
Their welcome from Pam. And I played this because it's a lot going on here. It's a lot going on. It's a lot,
and it's very telling.
Jackson was our holdout. We usually stay at the Caribbean.
Well, no. I don't need a vacation, so. I love working.
That's Piper laughing at him. Like, you love working?
But like,
what?
But actually, who acts that? Like, that has nothing to do with nothing. Like, who doesn't? It's not indicative of hating your job that you went to another country for a week.
He's self-conscious about seeming as like a Nepo baby. Like, I work hard, so I'm not just traveling around my parents on these vacations.
But Pam doesn't give a fuck, is what I'm trying to say.
No, Pam don't care.
Saxon works for his father.
She just tells everything.
They love it. It's Tim's dream.
It's pretty great.
How wonderful for you. How wonderful for you.
So, how many bedrooms are there?
3. The master is through the common area, and then there is 1 bedroom on either side.
Okay, so.
By the way, hold on, wait. We really went by it too fast. How wonderful for you. How wonderful for you. She's like, okay, like, how wonderful for you is something I'm gonna start saying to people when they say shit I don't give a fuck about. How wonderful for you.
That's so disingenuous.
That's what Pam did.
So, Lucky.
Oh, so let me go back, because this part is very important to me.
Bedroom on either side.
Okay, so Lucky, you're with me.
All right. You can sleep with me. I don't mind.
That'd be weird.
Why is it weird?
Because brothers and sisters don't sleep together after they have full-grown, genitals.
Saxon.
What?
That's a bad word.
It's a bad word.
Okay, so much. Honestly, this is a whole debate topic, because the truth is, it brings up an interesting question, which is, why is it weird? Is the idea that at some age you might get horny enough to fuck your brother? Is that what the reason why you can't, like, think about it? It actually doesn't matter. It's not like they're sleeping butt to crack. Like, why
They were in
can't they
different.
sleep in the
Were
same
they in
room?
different beds? Yeah, they were in different beds. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So
yeah.
that got me thinking, like, but even then, like, I can sleep in the same bed with my brother. There's not a I'm good. We're good. He's good. We're great. We can sleep in the same room, same house, same city. There's nothing that would make me want to use my genitalia with this man. So I'm like, when you think about it, it actually is implying that something weird would happen if they got the chance, which I guess is like, we don't think enough about that, but I think that's what's interesting about this moment, because normally you'd be like, yeah, I get it. Like, why are they making him spell it out? But then you're like, when he does spell it out, you're like, wait, this is weird that we even have that
they
whole
are
conversation.
always fighting over Lockie. Them two.
Yes, that's why I said Lockie's being split down the middle. Yeah, like, but I mean, Saxon is getting into a little bit too. He's gonna get a little bit too incesty for me, because he says stuff that some stuff needs to be said, but some stuff doesn't. Like later in the episode, he calls his sister. Yeah, he calls his sister hot, and I'm like,
so
Lockie,
yeah.
Saxon, what are we doing?
She was like excited about Lockie coming to sleep with her. And he was like, no, you're going to sleep with me. And they're like fighting over him. And he's like there in the middle, like, I don't care which one I go to. But something's just really weird about that. And then he says genitals. And the mom's like, that's a bad word. I played that back 3 times today on my second rewatch. It was so funny.
And then the dad is laughing. The dad thinks it's funny.
Hold on, I got to play this again. Listen to this.
Genitals.
Saxon.
What?
That's a bad word.
That's a bad word. All right, here we go. We keep going. So then he goes over there and starts fucking with Piper.
Stop, Saxon, please. Stop.
We're a normal family. You'll see.
I don't know.
What's the Wi-Fi?
Oh, yeah.
We don't actually have Wi-Fi in the villas.
What? No Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
That would be you should know. What?
I mean, if I planned, no. I've done phone detoxes and silent retreats before willingly. If I plan though to like, that would be you when I tell you, Brandon, I can't stream. They don't have Wi-Fi.
No, I'd be like, all right, I guess I gotta find someone else.
Yeah, okay. But no, I definitely don't. They clearly missed something in.
You better have Wi-Fi on your trip. That's all I'm
That's
saying about that.
That's the plan. But you know what they do at the Brown Lotus? They don't necessarily. Sometimes they turn it off to save.
In fact, she got a bag that she about to tell them to put their shit in.
We consider the hotel to be a digital detox area, so we actually encourage our guests to put your phones, your laptops, your electronics into this bag. I will take them, I will put them in our safe, and at the end of the week we will give them back to you. And that way you can just focus on being present and each other and self-care.
Yeah.
This come up in your research then?
No.
It's optional.
Oh. Okay.
I think it's a great idea. The only people I want to see are right here and
All right,
now.
honey,
I'm sick of these phones.
it's not realistic. We will be keeping the phones, Pam.
Okay. We just asked don't take them out into the common areas so as not to disturb the other guests.
Can we bring it to the gym?
Oh my God, dude, are you dense?
No, get a way better pump if I'm listening to music.
It's a common area.
He's so cute.
She's like, you fucking dummy. She just told you can't take your phone to common areas. Although I do think that's unfair. If you have a gym, you should let people listen to music in the goddamn gym.
Honestly, yeah, like if I'm just jogging in one place, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes Taxi says something, I'm like, maybe. I maybe get what he's saying.
Cute.
Well, no, I'm serious. I mean, what am I supposed to do here all week without my phone?
Okay, now that's where he lost me, because I'm like, nigga, and look outside, sit on the beach, enjoy quiet.
It's like my favorite. It's like my favorite movie, Meet the Parents, when Jinx gets lost and Jack is talking to the family, and he goes, "What is Jinx supposed to do without food, water, and toilet?" Jinx has to have his toilet. where he's going. Jack Saxon's like, what am I gonna do about my fucking phone? Like, what am I gonna do?
Eat a bunch of fruit.
Yeah, not with his spoon.
Oh, well, we do have a lot of amazing fruit here, but I wouldn't eat that. That is the fruit of the mighty pong pong tree, and the seeds of the fruit are toxic.
Yeah?
Why is
Could
he
kill you?
interested in that?
Yeah, good actually. It's very poisonous.
Yeah, bitch, you just said toxic. Like
That's gonna come back. They didn't
It
throw,
is,
they didn't
but
throw
I'm
that in
just
here
like-
for no reason.
no, I agree, but it's just like she goes toxic. He goes, oh, toxic. She's like, yeah, toxic. What do you? I just said it.
Okay, let me finish.
Look, I wouldn't worry about being bored, okay? Because you're each going to have a busy schedule that's based on your own personal goals.
Right?
Tomorrow you'll do your biometrics test.
I don't want to take a test.
Mm-mm.
Is it
That pissed me
complicated?
off.
No.
We're jet lagged.
We get a whole bunch of data, and I take those results,
Yeah.
and I put together a personalized plan
no.
that best suits your needs.
Okay. Pam, you seem great. You're a terrific person, but we're tired. We're taking 3 flights to get here. So let me make it easy for you. We just want to have a good time. And me, I just want to work out. So you take care of us, and believe me, in a week's time, I'll take very good care of you. All right?
Thanks.
All right, there we go. And so Pam leaves, and
That's
Victoria's
everything
like,
you need to know, damn near.
I'm tired as fuck. I'm going to sleep. Piper wants Lockie to go to the temple with her, but Saxon wants him to go to the pool. He don't know what to do, so he's like, I'm gonna go to the temple with her, then I'm gonna meet you at the pool. So they're still fighting over him. Saxon, next time we see Saxon, he's at the pool. He's in the water, and he is on the hunt for some. He's on the hunt to get some. And he sees Chelsea come and sit down. He's like, oh, she hot. Let me get out the water dripping and try to dry off right in front of her to get her attention. And he walks over there and he gets right next to her, starts drying off, and she not paying him the slightest attention at all. She could care less about that nigga. And then he gets a little salty about it. And meanwhile, Piper and Lockie walk to the monastery or the temple. And Piper's kind of intimidated about going, and she's, I'm not ready to go in. I'm not ready to go in. And Lockie's like, if you ain't gonna go in, can I go back to the pool now? And she's like, yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna stay here and just look around. And he's like, oh, all right, okay then, cool. So at the same time, Victoria is worn the fuck out, and she is just knocked out. Tim gets a voice message from a reporter from the Wall Street Journal who wants him to comment on the story, which we'll find out a little bit later, more details about that. Saxon calls, cut back to Saxon. He sees Lockie show up. He calls him over. He says, long plane rides make me horny as fuck. A bunch of hot women away from home with nobody to answer to.
He says it loud as fuck on purpose, too.
They look over and they see the Cougars. And so Saxon tries to flirt with them. And he's like, oh, y'all from the boat. Hey. And the women are like, oh, hey, how's it going? And they're not into him. He goes, oh, I seen you on TV. And she was like, thanks. And it just turns around. So he flames out with them. Then he turns back around to talk to Chelsea. And he was like, hey, how was brother supposed to get a drink here? And she says with the most straight, like deadpan voice, she says, you walk up to the bar and order one. And she turns her back to him, which was fucking hilarious. And so,
I mean, what is she like? What could that man offer her?
I mean, maybe he's good in bed. I don't know. He don't got
Maybe,
that kind
but
of
I'm
energy
saying
to
like,
me.
but think about how you'd have to be coming on vacation to be at a resort with your man and some random dude with a 12-pack. You go, oh, okay, actually, yeah, I'll cheat.
I feel like that shit happens all the time at resorts.
But that's people. You're right, but I think that like. Maybe I just like her, and so I'm like, that's not her vibe. That's not what she's about to do.
So then we get to dinner, and Tim asks what's taking Piper so long to set up her interview, and she's kind of like avoiding him and whatever. Then they turn to Lockie, who's like, hey, Lockie, you all ready to go though, right? Matter of fact, I saw on the sheet that they got a massage for posture. Because if you're going to be sitting at the computer all day, you're going to have your good posture. So he's already trying to get him in the family business.
Yeah, but he's also like kind of like pointing out that Lachlan isn't like his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And is maybe a little bit too artistic or like sensitive. I don't know.
And Lockie's like, well, I do got a decision to make. And Tim's like, what decision? You got in the Duke. You go on the Duke. And his mama's in the background's like, UNC, Tar Heel. And so they're basically fighting over where he's gonna go to school, but he's getting a lot of pressure from his daddy. Tim gets another call and he's like, I gotta take this. And so they're like, the fuck? They told you not to bring your goddamn phone out. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna leave. So he goes and takes the call. And basically the guy's like, I'm writing a piece on Kenneth Nguyen about a fund they set up in 2018 called Shoko.
You pronounce Nguyen, I think, Win.
Oh, it's Win?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And he says, Ken, I ain't talked to him in 5 years. Like, I can't even remember that name till you called. God, yeah, I can't help you, dog. I ain't talked to that dude in 5 years. Listen, if you got some questions, send them over into an email. I'll get my staff to ask him. And then he was like, well, I'm doing the article. It's going to release in like 2 days. And he was like, I don't know what to tell you, dog. I ain't seen that nigga in 5 years. So you just going to have to write what you got to write. All right, then. I'm here with my family. I'll call you later. Get off the phone. Immediately calls Ken. Immediately, like, Ken, what else? What the fuck's up with this? Like, tell me what's happening. So something is fucked up there. They must have did some fucked up shit. Then he's walking out. He sees Rick there on smoking the heater. And he's like, and Rick's like, how's your night? He's like, fuck off. So he's still mad about earlier in the day. Tim gets back to the table. And he's like, did you handle your call? Was it that busy? And he was like, yeah, it was nothing. And she was like, Piper was like, if it was nothing, you wouldn't have fucking left. And then he was like, it was something. I'm going to handle it. It's going to be nothing. Mm-hmm. Then we get to
Wait, Brandon, I'm wrong. You pronounced it right.
I did?
Apparently that's the white people way of saying it.
See? Then we get back to Saxton. This is what Chanel was speaking about earlier. And they in bed. And
now this is when we get into dangerously horny. This is starting to creep me out territory. Like, I get being sexually free, but like you get okay. So I guess I assume they all lived at home. Like Saxton gave we all live at home vibes, but let's say Saxton doesn't live at home. Then that means Saxton is at least a couple years ahead of Piper. And so that means he's been out of the house for a while. Piper's been out of the house at least 3 to 4 years if she doesn't go home, stay at home. But I'm sure she probably maybe lives too far. So like, I think some of the fighting over him is the fact that he's been at home and they haven't been with their sibling. But you could tell they don't talk all the time, which is another thing that kind of is clear because of what you're going to say, the questions he asked his brother.
He says, he says to him, don't humor Piper. Like, why are you hanging out with her? Why are you humoring her? She has issues to deal with. And Lockie's like, what? Like what? And Saxon's like, she's fucking hot and she's never been laid before. And Lockie's like, okay.
What an interesting way to say that she's nervous because she's sexually inexperienced. Like, it's like he centered her in such a she's any chick off the street way and not she's my sister way. So it's like, I do think that the reason why he can't sleep in the same bed as Piper, in the same room as Piper, is because he would be horny for Piper.
Well, he got Piper. The show did a really purposely desexualized Piper because she had on like Miss Cobell's nursing outfit to walk to the temple. And I'm pretty sure she's like a pretty hot woman. Like, I've never seen the actress before, but I'm pretty sure they're going to, by the end of this show, she's going to be like, they're going to show her in a different light. So I thought that was pretty interesting for Saxon to say that, given how we saw Piper in the show. And then he was like, Buddhism fucks up your life. It makes you suppress all the stuff that you want to do. And Saxon says,
to want things.
Yeah, it's good to want things. And Lockie says, so what should I want? And Saxon says, pussy, money, freedom, and respect, in that order. I was
like, goodness gracious.
To be fair, that's not a bad list for a heterosexual man of things to want.
Freedom. I mean, freedom. So you'll be locked up for pussy? Like, what are you saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Freedom wouldn't be first?
Pussy, money, freedom, and respect.
So you'll have money behind bars. That's what I'm assuming. You have, as long as women and you can have money in jail, you'll be in jail. That's what I'm hearing. But no, I think that I don't know. He's just such a weird macho, hyper masculine brother who like very clearly is, like you said, taken after his dad. And there's like this whole North Carolina subculture like you can underlie that is interesting. But he's like just weird. He would be the guy who would like weirdly bring up sexual stuff at a sleepover when like you're really like y'all were talking about like Pokemon, and he started talking about how hot girls are. Like he's just like hypersexualized and it's contagious damn near.
He says, "Don't shrink away from life like Piper." Saxon then pulls up his iPad. He's flipping through it, and then he goes, "So what kind of porn do you like? You like hot teacher porn? Bukkake?" He said it just like that. Bukkake. And
he's such an asshole.
And Lockley was like, I don't know. He was like, but by the way, that reminds me, how the fuck am I gonna jerk off with you when you're with me in this room all week? And then he looks up and he's like, I just go to the bathroom. And then he gets up. He's sleeping naked, by the way. He gets up.
Yeah, butt ass.
He walks to the bathroom so he can go jerk off. And this was the weird part. Rocky's just staring at him. Like while he's in there.
To be fair, he doesn't walk in and immediately close the door. He walks in, sets up the mount on the iPad, starts swiping, and then realizes, oh, my ass is out. Let me close the door. So like it was a very weird voyeuristic thing.
No, he looked in the mirror and saw him looking at him. And
yeah, but he didn't have to look in the mirror to know the door was closed. He knew he didn't close the damn door when he walked in the bathroom. I think like there's a weird I think Saxon is just like the type of hypersexual person to like actually have sex with anyone because he's like, I actually just want to have sex at this moment. Why not? But then also I think that's a way that he gets affirmation. Mm-hmm. So like he just loves being hot and like having most of the women in North Carolina probably fall over him for his money and his whatever. And so I think that like that's just that energy. So what I'm assuming is that this is not a weird incestual thing. I'm assuming that Locken's just like seeing that and just like almost like mesmerized by it because his brother is so. This is a side of his brother. His brother maybe didn't show when he was growing up, or maybe he did, but he was too young. So it's like he doesn't have probably an example of masculinity like this. I'm assuming. Like I'm just giving him a lot of backstory.
HBO is not afraid of incest.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's necessary. But that's just me.
And so then they cut back to the bed, and Victoria's coming to bed. She's like, I got a second win, honey. And he's like, God, you gonna talk my fucking head off.
Because he told her, one thing we skipped is he told her every other scene, he said, bitch, don't go to sleep because you're going to be up all damn night. And she goes, I got a second win, but don't worry, I took my sleeping pill already, which is how I know she's going to die.
And then she's like, he starts saying that Rick is jealous. Rick was getting on his nerves. He's a fucking asshole. And Vicky's like, he's just jealous of you because you have a beautiful wife. You got a beautiful wife. He's like, yeah, I got a beautiful wife. And he's like, and you got a good children who love you because you're such a great man and we live a great life and we can only have this life because of you and everyone wants to be like you. And I was like, okay, what's going on here? Like, why is she telling him this affirmation shit right now? Does he need
she
this?
Does that every night. I wonder if that's the kind of relationship they have. Like because she definitely, you know who they are. Oh, it just came to me. Did you ever watch Chris Lee Knows Best?
I've seen it tangentially after he's come on after wrestling.
It's genuinely worth watching because that man was funny as fuck. But he's like a clearly gay man.
Yeah.
Who's like also married to his wife and loves like so clearly bisexual man who's like culturally gay. I don't know what it is, but he's so sassy. And anyway, they like went to jail for tax evasion. And so I feel like that's the Chrisleys where like they're on the same page with each other, like culturally, but also like he comes home like, yeah, I just stole money. And she's like, yeah, exactly. So I think that's the vibe that they give me is they are on the same page, which is in a way like sweet, but it's, I guess we'll be curious to see like as this story comes out and he's implicated in it or exposed to it, if she's aware, like what she knows.
And then we get the girlies, my favorite part of the show, because this completely fascinated me. I gotta be honest with you. This was completely fascinating to me. So we find out that it's Jacqueline, who's an actress, like I said earlier, Kate, who's like a housewife of a rich person, and Lori, who's like corporate, just a regular woman with her daughter.
Yeah, but we also don't know what's going on with her, truly. We just know she's single, no kids.
Well, here's
Maybe
the thing.
kids, I don't know if it's single.
They've been friends since they were 9 years old. Jacqueline paid for the trip. And they're in their room. Lori comes out. She's enjoying the view. Like, man, this is fucking beautiful. Sees the monkey. She goes in. She's like, guess what? There's monkeys around here. And Jacqueline and Kate were like, oh, that's nice. And
see, I told you how you feel about the monkeys says a lot about you.
And we find out, and then that's when and then she was like, and Jacqueline comes out, was like, is your room okay? Because I will totally switch rooms with you. And then,
did she want her room, do you think?
No. I think this is so interesting to me. I think she was being fake humble. And because Lori says, you pay for it all, you get first choice. So Jacqueline had first choice of the rooms. So she had the best room. And so Jacqueline was trying to be fake humble, saying, oh, you can have my room, I'll take your room, knowing that she wasn't going to actually do that. And Lori was like, no, you pay for everything, you can have it. And then Kate was like, but we really appreciate it, but we're going to pay for our own spa sessions in some of yours. And she was like, I don't want to say, what is they, I don't know the word they use in Thailand, but like, thank you. She tried to say thank you in Thai. And Jacqueline's just so happy to be there with all of them. And Kate and Jacqueline, there's 3 times in the show. Kate and Jacqueline start giving each other compliments back and forth, like one-upping each other's compliments. And she's like, oh, you look so beautiful. Everyone can't be as beautiful as you, Jacqueline. And she's like, oh, thank you. I mean, you're so cute too, Kate. She's like, oh, thank you. I try. I look good too. But thank you. But, you know, my doctor did good. Probably not as good as your doctor. And Jacqueline was like, oh, what do you mean, my doctor? I haven't got any work done. Well, just a little things. Just this here and there. Little team up. And then Kate was like, me too. I got this done. I got that done. And Lori's just sitting over there because no one's saying shit about how good she looks or what she, because she has nothing to do with that lifestyle at all.
And also, Lori is my favorite of the 3.
Yes. Lori is my favorite too. And she's sitting over there and looks just completely like, what the fuck am I in? And so then the girlies go out to dinner and they are reminiscing about when they were kids. She was like, man, remember we were kids and we all dressed up as a person, like a 3-person person. And of course, Jacqueline, you were the face. And Jacqueline was like, what do you mean, of course? But she says it's so disingenuous. Like she knows, yeah, I'm the finest. Of course I was the face. And then Kate was like, I was your arms. And then Lori was like, I was your legs. And I used my arms and I put makeup all over your face. And they had a good laugh. And then Solana comes over and says, you are such beautiful women. And then Jacqueline says, when we were kids, no one could really tell us apart. And then Kate was like, well, until Jacqueline got famous. And now, of course, they could tell us apart. And she was like, oh, stop it. And then Solana was like, I used to, and the general manager was like, the owner used to be an actress and a singer. And she was like, yeah, I did some acting. I did some singing. I had some big hits in Thailand. But then I married my American husband and I just quit and went into this. And she says, I have an autoimmune disease. So I learned about all the best health and wellnesses around the world. So I wanted to provide that to our guests. And then we get this scene, which was so cringy to know. This is so fucking cringy. These compliment like this. I don't understand this. I'm just gonna play the scene. This was so fascinating to me.
Okay, Jack, I know that it's nice to have the red carpet rolled out for you all the time, but
this is Lori asking this to Jacqueline.
Is it weird to have people constantly kissing your ass? Because I think I would go crazy.
It's fine. I always have to be gracious. And I can't have a bad day in public anymore.
And I'm sure you have to wonder about people's motives. I mean, I even get that. Everyone in Austin knows about David.
Is she doing like a one-up thing? Is that what she's doing? Because she's like, I get that.
No, she's not doing a one-up. She's doing like but bitch, I'm not that far behind you.
Yeah.
And there's so many times I think someone wants to be my friend because they like me. I mean, I think I'm cool. But then I realize pretty quickly they have some agenda. They, want a donation or a job for their kid or want me to get them on some board. I'm not
The way
complaining.
she said that, I was like, did Lori do that?
I don't
Because
think
it cuts
so.
to Lori. Like I was just wondering, like something on this is about to hit her in a certain way. Like I know like there's other things probably later, but like the way she said some board, I was like, I wonder if Lori asked her for something and maybe she's not listing the thing, but she like clearly is including her in it.
Get them on some board. I'm not complaining. I'm lucky to be in a position to help people.
We're all lucky.
We're so lucky.
Yeah.
Laura's like, oh, yeah, okay.
I'm always bragging that I know you, and people don't believe we're friends, and I'm
This is Kate saying she's always bragging that she knows Jacqueline, but people don't believe her.
like, I'm telling you, she's like one of my closest friends.
Well, and your kids are gorgeous, your beautiful homes, you're totally winning life.
Well, look at you. Now you found the man of your dreams.
Oh my God, who would have ever thought, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and Lori.
That's so awkward to me. Oh my God, I had my hand in my face the whole time watching that.
It's an interesting, like, even if there's a group chat that the two, Jacqueline and Kate, have their own chat that they like, and they sometimes do their own brunch. But I don't think that Jacqueline does brunch by herself with Lori.
It was so awkward because then they're like, oh, we forgot to say something about Lori.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything you do is just so hard.
Just stop. Just stop. Just stop. Take that compliment, put it back in your mouth. That would make me so mad.
Hold on, I gotta replay this.
And Lori, everything you do is just so hard.
That's the compliment. Everything you do is just.
She didn't say you make hard stuff look easy every day. She said it just looks like you're struggling.
You've always been so impressive. I mean, that corporate world is so tough.
Yeah.
And your daughter seems like she is turning into a really cool girl.
Oh, she does have a daughter.
But she don't have no man. So that's why they went straight to her daughter. This is so bad.
I was like, oh, you have a job? And if you don't take your job, then your daughter won't eat. Got it. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Dave said, so what, you're going on a midlife crisis trip with your girlfriends? And I was like, Dave, it is not a midlife crisis trip. It's a victory tour.
Victory tour. I love that. That's it.
You guys,
Because they're winning in life. They're going on the victory tour.
I think the jet lag is catching up to me.
Lori's like, I gotta get out of here. Like, I can't take this shit.
And it was so interesting because when she did that, I thought like, damn, I'm so bad about moments like that. Like if I want to go to sleep, but everybody else is up, I will sit there all night on a trip, especially if I'm like a guest. I would sit there all night until the people are like, okay, good night. Like, cause I'm like, I don't want you to think I don't want to talk to you, but I also don't want to over talk you. So I would sit, but she said, oh, I'm going to sleep. I was like, damn, is it that easy? And then I realized like, no, she had to leave that very moment, no matter what.
I'm gonna go to bed.
Hey, I'll help you with the door.
Okay. Night night.
Good night.
Mwah.
Love you both.
This is her going back to her room.
And immediately.
She's going through it.
Damn. And it's like, did they not hear her? How strong is that door? Like, damn, she's going through it. I just think, like, It brings me back to this time I was with my friends going through it, and we didn't have the same. It wasn't the same dynamic. Like it was. But I do think in that dynamic, my friends were trying to encourage me, and I just think about like, bro, I don't know how to explain. Going through it is so cringe because you look back and you're like, damn, I was really in the bathroom crying. Like I don't know. I just maybe that's why I understand Lori, because I am the corporate girly of the group.
I don't have any experience with this as a guy with my guy friends, so I couldn't tell if this was a woman thing or a white woman thing. Like I couldn't tell.
You know what this would be like? This would be like if you. This is why you. I do think there's a particular intersection of culture in it, because like as we know, race and gender, they don't really operate separately. So there's a lot of like, so white women and black women are socialized differently. It's just a fact, which is not, it doesn't mean we can't be socialized similarly. It doesn't mean we can't do different things. It's just culturally they're different. That's simple. But so I will validate that. But I think it's more like, say you were good friends with, what's the man, with Van, not Van Lathan, the other Van.
Van
Who's
Jones?
the cool Van? No, Van Jones is the news Van. So Van Lathan is the cool one.
Van Lathan is the podcaster.
So, say you were friends with Van Lathan and Charlamagne the God, and y'all were on vacation, and he was like, bro, your podcast just went on Spotify $10 million. And the other one was like, bro, but Apple just said only your podcast is the only one we'll ever feature. And they go, Brandon, but your YouTube got 206.
Yeah, okay.
You telling me you wouldn't be like, all right, bro, I think I'm gonna go to sleep. Thank you so much.
No, I'd have been, I know, because that would have never happened. I'd be like, why don't y'all put me on?
That's a great point. You would advocate for yourself. I think so. There's definitely something where, like, I don't know that the average, there's a lot of things communities are still figuring out. And I think in this community, what they haven't figured out is how to self-advocate without being labeled a bitch. And so I don't know. And I don't even know, I guess I'll take it out because like I have friends who have self-advocated for themselves before, and I'd be like, this feels very wrong. But that's because I am, and not very wrong, like the way that it hit me was like, oh, you're, so an example where like somebody told me yes and they told me no to something, and they actually should be able to do that, but I still took it as like, okay, you're not being there for me as a friend, you're being there for yourself, which she's able to do. And I can feel both ways. I can be accepting that she did it for herself, but also be like, damn, you left me hanging. I think it's hard for us to find space for all the different emotions that we feel. And I think if you are scared to break your friendship, sometimes you don't deal with the real things there, and then it makes your friendship even more fragile. So I could be wrong and I could be over attributing it, but I spent a lot of time around people of different cultures. So that is what I've observed. Like, I think the ways I've tried to make friends with women that are not Black it's never really been reciprocated, because I don't fully understand. There's a little bit too much passive communication in it for me to pick up on stuff. So I don't know if we're not actually friends because you're acting like we are, but we actually aren't. And I find that out in other ways. Whereas like, I think there's other cultures are more clear in indicating whether or not they want to be friends with you. So that's what I'm picking up on.
Prediction time.
I would love for some white women to come tell us that this is spot on or not. My prediction is that the Southern Belle is going to die, probably by poison. And I think that Jason Isaacs is going to get in trouble and maybe want to stay on the run. I think we'll see Greg die as well. Greg could be the shooter. Did you didn't watch the previews again? I need you to start doing that, because it gives you 2 minutes of a bunch of theories that we can run through. But basically, we see 2 guns in the trailer, and I'm gonna tell you about it anyway. So that's why you might as well watch it. But 2 people got a toolie in Thailand. One of them is actually, that should be the name of. If we was watching, we had toolies in Thailand. So one dude who has a gun is Jason Isaacs' dad. Another person who has a gun is, you guessed it, Walton Goggins. We see, and then another person who has a gun is the security guard that Mook was trying to front on. He's like, they're asking him, because she asked him if he wants to be security for someone, and he's like, I don't know. And so she's like, oh, I thought she was ambitious. So basically they end up pushing, like there's like a small clip where somebody pulls a gun out and they're like, do you have a killer instinct? So I've seen 3 guns potentially here. And when you texted me who was the shooter over the weekend, I thought this was in reference to Paradise. I was like, damn, who got shot in Paradise? But it's actually reference to this. And so I think the shooter is Lachlan.
Lachlan, okay. I think that I think the body in the water was not from the shooter. I think that was another dead person that was just in the water that came up floating, and that wasn't
so maybe
from
that's
the shooter.
mom. Mm-hmm.
And I think the shooting is much simpler than what we think it is.
I think it's somebody shooting somebody purposely and not like a mass shooting or anything.
I think it's the security guards for the owner protecting them from something, maybe from Rick or something like that.
So people are running, but like it's actually they're just running while something's happening. There's not like an open shooter.
Yes. I also think that Lori is going to fuck the Russian helper while she's there.
We hope she does. I hope she enjoys it.
I think that Piper is going to meet somebody while she's there.
They also come to find out that Piper is actually lying, because remember how she went to the temple and didn't go in? So yeah. Piper actually is thinking about converting to Buddhism. She's not just there to study it.
Oh, I'm not surprised by that. By the way she was standing there and all of it.
And it's also very possible she's a lesbian.
I think that Saxton is going to hook up with one of the other MILFs, other cougars.
You think? But I think what's going to be interesting about that is like he's going to tread into some shit that he doesn't like, some shit that's bigger than him. Because some of them husbands don't play that. So I think that would be interesting. Or if he does get with Chelsea or one of those women, like they're with men who will fuck around and kill them in that resort. So that'd be interesting.
And what I don't have a prediction about, but I really want to see is I want to know if Belinda knows that Greg had Tanya killed. And then what is going to happen when Belinda and Greg meet, given that they both have that connection with Tanya and how they feel about that. I'm really interested in that meeting. I know it's going to happen at some point, and I want to know how it happens.
Do you think Belinda would be happy that Tanya died?
I think she would have mixed feelings. I think she knows Tanya's. Well, I'm interested if she does know. So we know that this is 2 years later. We know this is 2 years later.
Do you think she'd be happy to find out Tanya was killed, or do you think she'd want to avenge her? Is what I'm more asking. I feel like it would be mixed, but I was just curious.
I think it'd be mixed for her, because I think that white woman was going to give her some money. Like I think she seriously was going to do it, and then, but with a flip of the things, just like, I'm not gonna do that shit no more.
But that's worse. Like I think if she was going to do it and then he killed her, then it'd be like whatever. But for her to be like, oh, whatever. Like I think, because if I remember it correctly, the emotion was like, this is such a small amount for me that it must be the same for you. And Belinda was like, bro, I put everything into this, and if I beg you at this point, the whole dynamic's going to change. So I actually have to be graceful, because it'll turn into a whole nother narrative. It'll flip on me immediately. So yeah, I think that's a very interesting theory. I think that's fair.
All right, so we will be back.
Did you say the shooter is?
Oh, that's right. I thought the shooter's going to be just the security guards that Mook was talking to.
Yeah, the bad guys. Okay, cool. It could be Mook's boy. I'll learn names by next week, guys. I really will. I promise. I'm getting there.
So we'll be back next week with episode 2, White Lotus. Go back and check out our episode 5 review of Severance if you're here to listen to watch us or listen to us for White Lotus. We're doing Severance as well.
Please do.
We appreciate those things. Do you have a vacation outro, Chanel?
Okay, how about like I have an idea, since you did something different. So you know how like in the end of Keenan and Kel, he would always have a random expedition for them to go on?
Yes.
Okay, so Brandon, let's go. Meet me at the beach. Bring your eyes, put on your Izod polo, and bring Blue Devils bobblehead. See you there.
Oh, here goes.